Send this out. Come on in, come on in. I'm gonna send this out really quickly. I hope that y'all are well. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So guys, I'm up late a little bit, and we're so guys, I'm up late a little bit, and we're gonna have right now. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We're gonna have a conversation because it's time. That's the best way I can describe it. Because the stuff that I'm seeing is crazy work. We're going to talk about why most women choose victimhood over villainhood. Okay? That's what we're going to talk about today. Last week I talked to my clients in the Muse Activator about activating their villains. And I'm seeing this trend. And I made a content piece about it already. But I'm seeing this trend where women are talking about kind of like before they got into relationships, and then like after. Or I'm seeing things where women are talking about, you know, how a man drained them and this is how they're looking after the fact. And what I'm not seeing is accountability on our end. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of blame. And blame is not a solution, okay? Blame is not a solution. Accountability is required. We have to recognize and realize that when you... I was trying to make sure I had back on this area because y'all had felt like I didn't. We have to realize that you can be victimized in an experience, but when you choose to have a seat, a comfortable seat in that experience, and you sit there and you stay in it, you go from being a victim to being a volunteer for the experience. And when you volunteer for an experience that disrespects you, or an experience that devalues you, or an experience that degrades you in any kind of way, there has to be a healing that has to take place in order to correct that within self, right? And in order to do that, one must be willing to make a decision to take accountability for the things that they participated in. And one of the things that I say all of the time is that, nobody can play you without your permission, your participation, or the fact that you simply were not paying attention. And so we're going to talk about that today. Hey, love, I'm going to talk about, like I said, why a lot of women choose victimhood over being the villain. To choose to be a victim, and when I say choose to be a victim, I'm speaking about you being in this consistent cycle where people are always doing something to you. It's always something. That's what I'm speaking about. I'm not speaking about if you truly are a victim and you were coerced in a scenario and you were in danger. I'm not talking about this. So let's just get that clear, okay, before we get fully into this. But before I even get into that, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm an energetics and identity mentor. And what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients who are powerful women. I guide those powerful women to master their energy, embody their true identity to magnetically attract success, intimacy, leadership, and influence without burning themselves out. That is what I do. I have my track record of my clients make more money to come when they work with me. My clients get healthier when they come and work with me. My clients end up attracting a better partners and community when they come and work with me. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Okay? Let me know if you can hear me in the comments by putting a 1 in the comments, or letting me know where you're watching from. And also share this with another amazing woman leader, because I'm going to tell you something. The easiest thing to do, and I just recorded a video about this as well, the easiest thing to do is to brand yourself as a victim. That's the easiest thing to do. Okay? It's the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest identity to take on. And I'm going to explain that. Hey, Denver. Hey, New Jersey. So let's talk for a second about that and what I mean when I say that's the easiest thing to brand yourself as. Women that come or who watch me know I always speak about the importance of being very clear about your identity, being very clear about who you are, being very clear and rooted spiritually in your identity, because it's extremely important. Because when you know your identity, you know how to move. Hey, Lovey, thank you so much for these gifts and these likes. And the problem is when you are not rooted in your identity, when you do not know who you are walking around in this life, you are going to be forced, if you want to assimilate in society, if you want to get along with people or build some form of community, if you don't know your identity, you will be forced to choose an identity, almost like you're choosing a character in a game. You're going to be forced to choose your identity. If you don't know yourself and you don't know your identity living in this world, you will be forced to choose an identity, okay? So what a lot of people will do, and this is just not limited to women, but I'm talking to women with this. What a lot of women will do is try to expedite the fastest way to get the result that she wants. So the easiest way to expedite attention is to brand yourself as the victim. For example, if you meet someone and they are talking about their ex and they're talking about how their ex did them so wrong and this and that and how they played them to the left, this person is branding themselves as the victim to you, okay? You catching what I'm saying? Okay, cool. Everybody got it? Wonderful. Great. Okay? This person is branding themselves. If they are not speaking to how they contributed or participated or gave permission in that experience for those things to continue to keep happening, if they're not taking any form of ownership, they are branding themselves as the victim, okay, in that experience. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. And what happens is, the reason why a lot of women will brand themselves as the victim is because it is the easiest way to expedite attention, which is ultimately what you're looking for, attention. You're looking for attention. So it's very easy for you to brand as the victim when you volunteered for an experience. And women have to understand this, because I created a video talking specifically about the importance of understanding and seeing the early signs of you losing yourself in any form of a relationship. And I'm not even just talking about men. If you get in a relationship with a client or in business and you feel yourself deteriorating, you feel like you're not, it's draining you, you need to evaluate the relationship. Because it's ridiculous to me for me to see these posts. And I'm going to tell y'all something. It's not anything new that a woman will get with a man and lose herself in that relationship. That's not something new. That's not something that just started happening. Our aunties, grandmas, great-grandmas, all of them had to deal with things like that as well. Now we live in a society where it is publicized and we put it online and all this different kind of stuff. But see, here's the thing that we're not understanding here. If you are coming online and you are saying, what do you mean? How did he drain the life out of me? And you are putting a video of yourself and you are so vibrant and you were this and you were that. And then you are showing how you declined, because that is what happened. You decline over time. See, now we're going to get into it. You don't decline after one incident. See, when the first time when they lied to you and you let it slide, then it grows into something else. You need to really understand that when you allow someone into your space and they are new, you are training them on how to treat you. You telling them, oh, I want to be treated like this, or I want to be treated like that. None of that matters. You could give somebody the entire blueprint on how to love you, and they will still not follow the blueprint. You train people on how to treat you by the way that you respond and the way that you react. And when someone lies to you and you make it okay for them to sit in your face and continue to lie to you, then they are going to continue to lie to you. Because when a person does something to you and there is no consequence, There is no remembrance. There is no emotion attached to this memory. What they remember is when they apologize to you, you're just going to allow them back into your space. And that is what's happening with a lot of people. Because you are allowing people in your space who are branding themselves as the victim. When people are volunteering for experiences, you can be victimized in an experience. But like I said, when you choose to sit in that experience, when you choose to sit there, you are now volunteering for that experience. And when you begin to volunteer for an experience that is degrading you, that is dishonoring you, that is disrespecting you, that says something about how you truly feel and what you truly believe about you. So let's get into, like I said, all of y'all, a lot of women out here lying, y'all in y'all villain era. Girl, you're not in your villain era when you can't even say no. You don't even know how to stick to a boundary. Don't talk to me about setting one. Anybody can set a boundary. How about standing on business? We don't do that though. We talk about it, but we're not really doing that for real. So when we're talking about actually standing on it, then stand on it. That's what it means to be a villain. Because you understand that they're going to villainize you anyway when you set boundaries and you don't care because you prioritize self. That is being a villain. Y'all have this very confused. You have it very confused. Because you can't be in your villain era and still be a victim blaming old boy for what he did to you in XYZ. That's not even possible. It makes no sense. But I'm going to break that down for y'all today because there's a lot of confusion and a lack of accountability. And honestly, I'm tired of seeing it from women. I'm tired of seeing it from us. Men have their own issues that they need to deal with in their house, but we need to deal with what's going on in our house. And our house is not together. A lot of us is not together. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes and these comments. It's not together. And it's because you're still trying to blame and you're still trying to be the victim when in reality you are a volunteer because nobody can play you without your permission, your participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention. You better figure out where you fit in line so you can fix the problem. Because branding yourself as the victim is not making anybody feel sorry for you. This is why you continue to attract narcissistic people into your space because you brand yourself as the victim. As soon as somebody come in your life, you telling them about your trauma, you branding yourself as the victim. Nobody feels sorry for you. That's what you're missing. Predators don't feel sorry for you. Oh, please don't hurt me like the last one hurt me. I'm going to hurt you even worse. They don't feel sorry for you. Why would they feel sorry for you when they are not, when you are not, you don't even have the goal to prioritize yourself? Like, be for real. Be for real. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Now let's talk about it. And I know society has made this popular, but I'm going to tell you the problem with profitable pain. See, when you want to brand yourself and get online and tell all your business and tell it in a sense of pain, and then y'all do this, and then turn around and wonder why men will turn around and use you up. You're already showing, you're creating a public record of how you allow yourself. Because here's the question. What do you mean? How did he drain the life out of me? My question is, what do you mean that a man has the ability to drain the life out of you, out of your life? How does he get access to your life force? How does he get access to your life force without your permission or your participation? Or are you out of it? Did he do something to you to where you can't pay attention? How does one get access to your life force? And you get online and parade this around like, oh yeah, that's not cute. And then y'all still out here dating. What you're showing is that you still don't have no discernment, because why would you put that online? Why would you do that to yourself? That makes absolutely no sense. But then want to say you in your villain era. You're not in your villain era. You're not even in your villain arc. You're still in victimhood. If you're blaming other people for what is happening in your life experience, you are in victimhood. You're not in villainhood. Stop lying. You're not in your villain era. The problem with profitable pain, the most profitable identity, because like I said, women who are not rooted in their identity, they're forced to choose an identity in order to assimilate in this culture. And women are communal. We are the communal species. So we want community. So this is why y'all will fake personality This is why you will pretend to be somebody else to try to fit in, because you're not rooted in your identity. So you're forced to choose one, or you're going to be on an island by yourself. And you don't want to be by yourself, do you? You don't want to be by yourself. So you're going to be forced to choose this personality. And the easiest way to expedite attention is for you to brand yourself as the victim. And when you brand yourself as a victim, then people run to you and give you the attention that you are looking for. And because society loves drama and attention is the highest form of currency in this society, we just pay you in views. People, you pay them in views. You give them exactly what it is that they was looking for, an audience to perform for. And it's ridiculous. Like I said, the most profitable identity in modern relationships is victimhood, because it's so much easier to weaponize, or let me say this, because pain is so much easier to weaponize than self-responsibility. Because let's get into it. The minute that you feel yourself being sucked, or your energy being sucked out of yourself, because let me tell y'all something about relationships. You do understand that relationships are supposed to make you better. You understand that? When you get in a relationship with someone, your life is supposed to improve in some area. They should be adding some form of value to your life, and you should be adding some form of value to their life. If you allow someone to come into your space and poke holes into your fountain and make you a drain, whose fault is that? See, now let's talk about it. Whose fault is that really? Is it the person's fault who came in poking the holes? Or is it your fault that after the first hole was poked, you allowed them to poke more holes? And this is for the ones who like to say, well, people like to pretend. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. People like to pretend. People do pretend. But guess what? Let me tell you one thing for sure, two things for certain. If you are asking the Most High about people, see, it tells you in Scripture. It tells you in James specifically. If you ask the Most High for wisdom, see, y'all don't want to ask the Most High no questions because y'all don't really want to know the truth. Y'all don't really want to know if this person ain't for you. You don't really want to know that because they too fine. They're the best person you ever met in your life and all this other foolishness. You don't really want to know. So you don't ask. And then when you see certain things, you tell yourself you tripping. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. You tell yourself that you tripping. You tell yourself that, oh, it's not a big deal. Thank you, my love. I love that. You tell yourself, oh, and you continue to volunteer for an experience when you see things for what they are. The problem is you find yourself in a space of always choosing to be the victim because, again, it's easier to blame somebody else. It's easier to use pain and weaponize it than to have self-responsibility, to have self-control. I ain't never seen so many people have requirements for other people, but you can't control yourself. Some of y'all can't even close y'all legs. And that I don't understand. I don't understand that. You're not emotionally regulated, but you won't close your legs. That doesn't make any sense. Your heart is tied to your womb like so much, but you won't close your legs. You don't know how to transmute energy, so when you're ovulating, you're so focused on pipe when you really can be using that energy to get paper. But you out here begging a man for paper and taking pipe trying to trade to get paper when you really can transmute that energy up. But you don't understand that aspect of yourself. You don't understand that aspect of yourself. It makes absolutely no sense. And the women who are not rooted in their identity, those women don't know who they are, so they are forced to perform. They perform. And the one that they become the one that requires the least. They become the one that requires the least. No victims. Volunteers. See, when you see things for what they are, the hardest battle with a woman is normally believing what she sees. It's not that you don't know. When I make the statement that nobody can play you without your permission, your participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention, the majority of the time, it's just that you ain't even paying attention. And you giving permission. And you participating. Like, it's not making any sense. But then you're saying this is not what you want for your life. Women are choosing victimhood all the time. Most women aren't even building relationships. They're building trauma theaters. Get into it. They're building trauma theaters. That's what they're doing. You're not building relationships. You're literally housing and replaying the same movie over and over and over and over and over again with different people coming in and out of the movie. Because it feels safer to you to be comforted in pain than to be respected in your power. I don't give advice, my darling. I only give insight, and I take questions toward the end. A lot of women are not building relationships. You're building trauma theaters because, like I said, you feel safer, comforted in pain than respected in power. You don't want to stand in the fullness of yourself. You don't want to do that. That's too much. You know what? Women love to claim that they're in their villain era, but they scared to be the villain. You scared to be the bad guy. I don't want to hurt his feelings. But baby, he will stomp all over your feelings. They put themselves first. Do you understand that? I don't want to hurt his feelings. I can't say that because I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Men, what I respect about men is that men always prioritize themselves and they only do things that benefit them. I respect that. A lot of people get mad. I respect it. See, respect it and learn from it. Respect it and learn from it. Because when you understand that and you understand that they're always going to put themselves first, maybe you'll start to put yourself first. Maybe you'll get that understanding. Because they're going to always put themselves first. And I do mean always. Women who choose victimhood because, and I'm going to tell you something why it's the easiest choice. A lot of women choose victimhood because it gives instant validation, emotional attention, and temporary intimacy. That's why women choose it. And if you don't believe me, this is why you play dumb with that man you know you smarter than. Instead of you actually doing the things that you need to do to position yourself to be around men who actually would challenge you, that you actually could respect because they actually do know more than you play the game like this man right here. You play faux what is it? You do this faux humility thing to shrink yourself and make yourself feel smaller or dumber so you can be rescued. That's a form of victimhood too. Because the reality of the situation is if you got around the men that you actually respected, they would require more of you and you ain't ready for them kind of conversations. You don't really want that. You don't really want that. See, the ones that's real, they rare. But the women that they attracted to are rare as well. Because the reality of the situation is a lot of women will choose to play the victim because it gives them some form of control. It makes you feel like you the neck. Ain't that what you say? It makes you feel like you the neck. It makes you feel like you really the one that's in direction when you play small. That's why a lot of women choose victimhood, because it gives them instant validation, emotional attention, and temporary intimacy. Keyword temporary. Because like I tell y'all all the time, I don't know why y'all think y'all can play these games. I don't know why y'all think y'all can play these mental games without understanding the spiritual rules. I don't think you understand that what comes behind it. You're trying to play mind games without understanding the spiritual rules attached to these things that you're doing. Anything you attract under false pretenses, you're not going to be able to sustain. You're not going to be able to keep. So if you are wearing a mask to obtain something, eventually the mask is going to fall off. That is what you have to realize. So a lot of women will choose to be in that space just to get those things, that instant validation, that emotional attention, and temporary intimacy, even if it's for a moment. They will play the victim. They will play the victim because that's the easy thing to do. That's the easy thing to do. That's the quickest thing that you can do. But when it comes down to truly being a villain and operating from the space of villainhood, which villainhood looks like owning your needs. See, villainhood is the true dark feminine. Villainhood is standing on your standards. Oh, you don't have any? So stop saying you and your dark feminine. Stop saying you and your dark feminine, because standards are built around what you value. Boundaries are built around what you want to feel. Primarily. See, your boundaries, if you want to feel peace, your boundaries are going to be an extension of that peace. Your standards are built around what you value. If you value your relationship with God, then your standard is that you value your relationship with God. So if your relationship with God is important to you, then that's the standard. That's the standard. And I don't think that women, y'all are really, like, a lot of women are not grasping that. They're not understanding that. Because there are no standards. There are no boundaries. There are no any of these things. Villainhood also looks like risking being too much. See, I don't want to do too much. I don't want to be too much. I don't want to. Why do you care if it's you? Why do you care if it's you? Why? If you being you, why do you care? This needs to be discussed more. Attracting under false pretenses, then being surprised by the results. Good evening and good night. I don't know why they be surprised. Well, yes, I do, because you don't really research. A lot of people, even when they try to manifest things, they're not really researching and understanding. They're just looking at manifestation from one aspect, and you're not looking at the laws. This is why I always say to women 3 things that if you want to thrive. If you want to thrive on this earth, you need 3 things. You need to understand spiritual law. For me, that looks like scripture. You need to understand the science of yourself, because society spent years teaching you how to work against the science of yourself, which is why the majority of women are sick. And then the third thing is that you need to understand and study the psychology of your lineage so that you don't repeat those cycles. That is how you thrive. You want to talk about getting out the matrix? That's where it starts. That's where it starts right there. And a lot of women are missing that. They're missing it. Which is why you stay in a state of victimhood instead of choosing to be the villain. Everybody want to have a villain era, but nobody wants to be the real villain. As soon as you say no, somebody can guilt trip you into changing your mind and shifting on your boundaries and violating your own standards. Y'all are not villains. Y'all are not villains. Like, y'all too scared to be villains, which is why you end up being continuous victims. Scared of your own shadow. Literally. I ain't never seen so many people doing all this shadow work, but then scared of your own shadow. That's real crazy. That's wild work. To do shadow work just to still be afraid of your shadows. Makes absolutely no sense. To be the villain is to understand how to live in the light and in the shadows. Because in this life, there is such a thing called Kairos time. And if you're on my Substack, because I started a Substack where I'm giving out a lot of sacred information and different things that I don't talk about here in my letters. This Substack is called The Red Knowledge Tree. And if you are a paid subscriber of the Red Knowledge Tree, then you get access to the red letters. And the red letters is where I go deep, 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 deep. And so in the red letters, I'm talking about Kairos time a little bit deeper than I normally do, right? And so Kairos time is basically like your seasons, your ups and your downs. And because you don't really understand that aspect of yourself, you don't understand that being a villain is necessary. Because there are going to be times that you're going to be living in the light and living in the dark. You need to know how to navigate both areas. You know how the Messiah knew how to reject and was able to reject the op when he came to see him and tried to get him to do all these things and worship him, and he would feed him, he would give him. You know how he was able to resist? It was because he was already prepared. He ain't had no problem saying no. The Messiah already said no to people. It was people begging the Messiah to heal him, and the Messiah was like, no, I actually got to go do this because this is actually my assignment right here. This is not my assignment. Did he heal a couple of people? Yes, but was he healing everybody on the trajectory to where he was going? Absolutely not. Because that wasn't the focus. Baby, one person can't fall down without you trying to bend down and help them. This not even your assignment. The reason why you are not prepared when it's time to really be a villain is because you're not even comfortable saying no. Of course you can't reject. You don't know how to say no. I bet you going on every date that a man is asked, any man that's asked you to go on, just to go on a date. Why? Because you don't understand that your time is currency. Because you don't understand your time has value. Because you don't understand your Kairos time and the importance of managing your Chronos time. You too busy worried about Chronos time, which like I said, I really break this down in the red letters in my Substack. And you only get access to the red letters if you're a paid member. But you get the other letters, you get the knowledge tree, which is a free member. But I really break that down in there because you really need to understand a lot of y'all are focused on Chronos time, which is a chronological time. And you need to understand that Kairos time. Because y'all are out here missing your up seasons because you are wasting Chronos time because you lack understanding. And it's putting you in a chokehold. You ain't in your villain era. You ain't in your villain arc. You still a victim. And victims, like I said, they seek in instant validation. They do things to seek emotional attention and temporary intimacy. Being a victim is not a long game. It's not healthy. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You have to get to a point to where you make a decision to take ownership and responsibility for the things that you participated in. Like I said again, villainhood is owning your needs. It's standing on your standards. It's risking being too much. That takes identity. That takes identity. How did I learn all of this? I'm actually going to do a letter on Substack to talk more about it. But I had a spiritual awakening in 2 ego deaths. That will have you seeking the Most High's face like you have never seen in your life if you experience some of the things that I have experienced in my life. So my life had to crash and burn first for me to really get rooted and understand who my creator is. And in that, the creator allowed me to be able to gain really deep understanding by dissecting scripture. And in me dissecting scripture, the Most High allowed me to be able to see what my gifts were and how my gifts heightened as I grew closer to the Most High. And so I'm continuing to do this work. So this is my assignment. And so until I get to my last one, I'm going to leave here when I get to my last one. So that's how I came into my knowledge. But I'm going to really write that out one day in my Substack. So go ahead and make sure you subscribe. But like I said, operating in your villainhood takes identity. And most women in a lot of spaces, they think that they want love or they want money or they want this, when in reality they're addicted to being seen as hurting and not whole. Anytime you got to dumb yourself down, that's victimhood. Anytime you have to act less than or not as smart as it, that's victimhood. You're shrinking yourself down because you're seeking instant validation. If I'm like this, nobody's going to like me. If you like that, nobody's going to keep liking you. How about that? Because again, what you attract under false pretenses, you're not going to be able to sustain because you attracted it in a deceitful way. And it tells you in scripture that literally whatever you gain from an evil state, money, whatever it is, you're not going to be able to keep it. You can't do that. You can't do that. And you can't manifest something. You can't sustain something that you're not an energetic match for. It's like you being the building engineer to all of a sudden becoming the CEO. You don't know how to do that job. You don't know how to do that job, and eventually it's going to get caught up with you. It's going to catch up with you that you don't know how to do that job. Your mask is going to fall off. So you're not going to be able to do that. A lot of women, like I said, they think that they want love. They think they want these things, but in reality, you're addicted to being seen as hurting, not whole. And then when you show up whole, you want to be shocked when nobody likes you, where you trick people into liking you. That's not fair. That's not right. It's easier to do things like call your ex a narcissist than say I collapse my boundaries for breadcrumbs. I'm gonna say that again. It's really easy. And this is why I'm gonna lose a lot of y'all. It's really easy to call your ex a narcissist rather than to say That I collapse my boundaries for breadcrumbs due to my attachments to this world. Though I'm not supposed to be attached to the things of this world, I have attachments to this world. And this right here is why I'm calling this man a narcissist, because I collapse my boundaries. I collapse my boundaries for breadcrumbs. Where did you learn to eat so cheaply? Where did you learn to crawl on the ground for crumbs? See, these are the questions you need to be asking yourself instead of worrying about this person is a narcissist. How did a narcissist get in your heart space is the question. How did you become it? How are you an energetic match for a narcissist? See, let's talk about it. How? How? You ever thought about that? How was I an energetic match for a narcissist? I'm such a good person, huh? But are you? Are you a good person to yourself? Because here's what you have to understand about narcissists. And this is what I explain to people all the time when women would come to me and say, "You're so narcissist, I don't know why." I'm like, "You don't know why?" No, I don't know why. I'm going to tell you why. The thing that you have in common with narcissists is that you both are trying to outsource power. It's just two different power sources, that's all. Same spirit, two sides, one coin, okay? The narcissist is outsourcing power and uses supplies to outsource power because it believes that it is not powerful, so it must use someone else to be able to obtain power. That is what the narcissist does. Okay, so that is why and how he uses you as a power source. Now, how are you the energetic match for that narcissist? Is that you are also trying to outsource power. See, you're trying to outsource power in the form of love. You want love. You want the love of someone else when you have not given yourself the love you need for self. And because you're so focused on the love of someone else and outsourcing your love and getting that from someone else instead of giving it to yourself first, you are trying to use this person, this same narcissist, you are using them to obtain the power source of love. And this is why you both are an energetic match for one another. Because you both believe that you are powerless. Belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way that you behave. And if you don't believe me, think about that last pregnancy scare that you had, or the one your friend had. Why did she stop throwing up after she took the test? Or why did you stop throwing up after the test? Why? Because the brain is that powerful to trick you into believing that you are pregnant because you said it. You are the narcissist that you hate so much. Let that sizzle in your spirit and let you digest that for a second so that you can stop thinking that you are such a good person, because a good person would not allow themselves to continuously be drained because they would understand the value of self. See, in order for things to heal, they got to sting first. Sometimes, when you're trying to clean the wound, it burns when you're trying to clean it. It burns first and then it heals you. But you need to be able to really accept what's happening here. You are the narcissist that you attract. Same thing. Same thing. Same thing. You're welcome. All praises to the Most High. So like I said, it's so much easier to call your ex a narcissist instead of to say I collapse my boundaries for breadcrumbs. That's too much responsibility. That's too much accountability. That's too much intentionality. That's too much like manifesting better than what you had because you're taking accountability. See, that's how you get something different. You want to ascend, take accountability for how you got to the level that you at. Stop the lies. It's easier to post, "They weren't ready for me," or "I was too much for them," or they were intimidated by me, than to admit that I wasn't ready to choose myself. Let's say that one more time, but I'm going to stick to one. It's easier to post, "They weren't ready for me," than to admit that I wasn't ready to choose myself. I said this the other day, and I'm going to keep saying it because I need you to understand. I need y'all to stop rescheduling your joy for somebody else's availability, because that's what a lot of you are doing. That is what you're doing when you're waiting and when you're playing these games by sitting in the gray zone with people. When you are sitting in the gray zone with people like that, and then they don't choose you, and then you want to come out and be like, he chose the weaker one. They chose who they wanted. You waited around hoping they were going to choose you. They chose who they wanted, and it didn't take them long because they already knew what they wanted, and they knew they want you. Ooh, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. And here you are rescheduling your joy based on their availability, and baby, they were never planning to make their schedule available for you. They weren't planning on it at all. At all. Make it make sense. To reschedule your joy? I think not. I think not. So it's so much easier for you to say they weren't ready for me instead of saying I wasn't ready to choose myself. It's easier to say that all men lie rather than to admit you ignored your own truth. Let's get into it. It's so much easier to say that men lie and play games rather than to admit that you ignored your own truth. Didn't you get those butterflies in your stomach? Didn't you get that warning? Didn't you get that warning? Thank you, Lovey. Didn't you get that warning? That feeling in your stomach that was saying this ain't it. But no, you was tripping. You thought you was tripping, right? Ignored your own truth. Why? Let me tell you something. Real intimacy doesn't flatter your ego. It refines your identity. When you have been in a scenario, in an intimate experience, and it really shifted your life, it really imprinted on you, it really impacted you, that shifts your identity. It changes your brain chemistry. It does something. And on the opposite end of that, when you position yourself to continue to be in these cycles, that alters your brain chemistry too. That changes you at core as well. As women, we have two pathways as we begin to age. You either are going to get better or you're going to get bitter. You better choose your pathway. You better choose your pathway. And victimhood leads to the land of bitterness. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. It leads to the land of bitterness. So choose your position. Now I'm going to tell you this. We're going to talk a little bit about the nervous system of victim love. What if I told you the real reason why you keep branding as the victim is because it's the only way that you know how to feel safe being wanted? What if I told you the real reason you keep branding yourself as a victim in all of these experiences is because it's the only way you feel safe being wanted? Because somebody wants to come and save you. Somebody wants to come and take care of you. Somebody wants to come and finally be in that space, so you got to make yourself feel smaller or put yourself in a victim role. What if your nervous system doesn't believe you can be loved and powerful, only loved and broken? Because that's really what's happening. See, when you're in these cycles, we go after what's familiar. So if instability is familiar to you, then that is what you're going to be in. Despite the fact of you saying you don't like the up-down, you confuse intensity with intimacy. That's not the same thing. You confuse fireworks with a fireplace. That's not the same thing. And we miss that. Here's the part that a lot of people don't talk about. If victimhood is your relational identity, then betrayal is your intimacy currency. See, y'all really need to understand spiritual law. This is why I said it. 3 things you want to thrive. I'm trying to tell you. Number 1, you better understand spiritual law. For me, that's scripture. Number 2, understand the science of yourself, because society has tricked you into working against yourself, which is why a lot of us are womb sick. Number 3, studying the lineage of the psychology of your lineage so that you don't repeat these things. Let me tell you this again. If victimhood is your relational identity, then betrayal is your intimacy currency. And I said what I said is going to be like, it's going to hit every single time. Every single time. This is why the woman who goes in and tells all of her trauma to this man that she get met, he turn around and do the same thing, but he don't even do the same thing. He take it up a notch. Why does he take it up a notch? Why does he take it up a notch? Because if your identity is rooted in victimhood, the currency of that, your intimacy currency is destined to be betrayal. It's destined to be betrayal. Because that's the tone you set when you walked into that experience. So this is why a lot of your gurus are telling you when you go into these experiences, do not go in there telling all of that. And here's the thing. They're not telling you, thank you, my love, for these gifts. They're not telling you don't do these things so that you can try to trick them or be a different kind of way. What they're saying is settle these things. Settle these things within yourself so they stop being your identity. So when you go on dates and you go on in experiences, you're not talking about this because they're going to run a play on you. What y'all are missing is that when you go into these experiences and you do this talking like this, when you do this talking like this, it's subconsciously they lose respect for you. Because when they first meet you, they got you right here, which is why they want to please you, why they want to do everything, why they want to do this. And when you lower your nature, you done slept with them too early, you done did this. When you lower your nature, you done told them about all your trauma. You lower your nature, you trying to do everything for them. They saw you up here, now you down here, so they like, this ain't even what I thought it was. I don't value this. How could I like somebody who don't even like themselves that would allow themselves to be treated like this? I thought she was up. You play yourself. And there's no judgment. Hear me when I say this. I know you telling them because you don't want them to repeat that to you. I know that's why you're telling them. You're telling them in hopes that they are not going to do anything, okay? To harm you, to put you back in that scenario again, any of that stuff. I understand that's why, but it don't work like that. It don't work like that. I'm telling you it does not work like that. And I'm telling you, you are playing yourself. And I just gave you a real life cheat code with that. I'm going to say it one more time. If victimhood is your relational identity, betrayal is going to be your intimacy currency. And I'm telling you that's what it is. You can take it or you can leave it. You can take it or you can leave it. Because what I'm telling you is that this basically means that your nervous system can't even receive devotion. It only knows how to survive disappointment. Ooh. Your nervous system can't even receive devotion. It only knows how to survive disappointment. Disappointment at an early age consistently will train your nervous system to receive and be used to and consistently expect disappointment. This is the root seed of hyper-independence in most women who grew up without daddies or as the oldest daughters. That's how it starts. See, when women come to work with me as an energetic and identity mentor, we correct all those things around those energetics because everything you do is rooted in your energy and your identity, whether you realize it or not. From the money you make, this is why when women come to work with me, they make more money. This is why when women come to work with me, they get healthier. This is why when women come to me, they attract better community and better partners romantically and all this great stuff. All these things I had to do as well. Everything I teach is rooted in scripture, backed up by science, and backed up by psychology as well. This is why it works. A lot of the problems that you think that you have in the physical world actually start spiritually. They start with simple spiritual law violations that you have going on in your life that have trained your beliefs a certain kind of way. And belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you are behaving. And you are behaving in a way that is beneath you, which is why you are not receiving the things or the desires of your heart. You don't even know the desires of your heart. You're disconnected. You're disconnected, which is why you can't receive devotion. and why it is comfortable for you to continue to just learn how to survive consistent disappointment. You're not really building connection, you're performing abandonment. Every relationship becomes a reenactment of your unhealed initiation. Every single one. That's the energetic debt that you pay for bypassing your identity. This is literally the debt you pay by bypassing your identity. When you don't become rooted in your identity, you choose a false identity for this life and for this world. You put yourself in a debt, because everything you attract under that false pretense, none of it is going to stand. And imagine trying to work on everything and trying to be in relationship after relationship and trying to get money after money and business after business, and everything continues to fall down. You just can't keep it. You could start it, but you can't keep it. Everything just continues to happen like that for you. Why? Energetic debt. Energetic debt. Due to you bypassing your identity. See, the real work is when my clients go from making 0 to almost 15K in less than 30 days, when my clients go from having heart damage to reversing heart damage and losing 70 pounds, when my clients go from being single to attracting fiancés or elevating their marriages, when they go from that, they are doing the work internally to get rid of that energetic debt. They're becoming rooted in their identity. It literally tells you in Genesis that you have a godlike nature, godlike character, and you have dominion. When you don't rise into the energy of what I just stated, you will continue to live on low vibrational states and attract things from low vibrational states because you do not have access to the frequency of love, the frequency of peace, joy. It's not a coincidence that these things sit at the high vibrational, they sit at the top of the vibrational scale, and that these things are spiritual fruits. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Women are so scared of losing control that they have no control over self, because you're trying to control everything else but self. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit. What you don't realize is that when you can elevate to the space of in the energy of self-control, you will realize how much control you have in your environment and how you've always had 100% control of what comes in and out and who comes in and out of your environment. A woman that really wants to get in control of her life is a woman who embodies self-control. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit for a reason. It's not just a gimmick. Like I said, when you stay in the space of bypassing your identity, okay, you position yourself for this debt. Your body knows you're in debt. Your heart knows you're in debt. And your lineage feels that you are in debt. When you have this energetic debt going on, your body knows it, your heart knows it, and your lineage knows it. Now let's talk about this little fake villain era that a lot of women are claiming that they're in. Because like I said, to be a villain means to have to stick to your standards. To be a villain means to be rooted in who you are and to take risk and not be like, oh, is this too much? The villain ain't asking, is this too much? The villain is not overly, oh, I'm sorry. Did that offend you? The villain is not asking that. Oh my God, the villain is not over explaining. When she says, hey, do you want to go to this thing? And the villain says no, no is a complete sentence. The faux villain era that a lot of I'm seeing is all this, oh, everybody want to wear dark, you want to wear red lipstick, you want to have slick captions, you want to have this surface level, I don't care aesthetic, but what's really behind that? Let's talk about what's really behind it. The little faux villain era that a lot of women are participating in currently. Number one, most of those women are still asking for permission to be seen. Just this time, it's behind a veil of fake rebellion. Okay? It's like fake rebellion. Now it's under the guise of this whole fake rebellion. Oh, I'm not listening to what nobody's saying. I'm not doing what... But you're still asking for permission to be seen. You're still performing by putting these whatever it is, this image and this projection out there that's truly not who you are. Now you all of a sudden don't care. Now you done turned into Future. Girl, you was just a lover girl 2 minutes ago giving out all your money. Now you Future. Please don't get on my nerves. Be for real. It's not villainhood. It's literally performance art dressed up as sovereignty. Because true villain energy, true muse power doesn't need posture. It just is. It just is. The real villain, the sovereign woman who doesn't ghost. She communicates clean. She doesn't test her partner. She trusts herself. She doesn't perform powerful. She's anchored. She's in her birthright of abundance. Baby, he could be gone today. Guess what? She understand. One gone 15 minutes, another one. Listen to me. Nobody's attached. See, all these attachment styles, can I be honest? You know why you have these attachment styles? Because you're in spiritual violation. You're in spiritual violation. If you are continuing to go on into adulthood and you have opened your mouth and you were saying that you have an attachment style and you are 30 plus, you have not started doing your work. The reason why you have this attachment style is because you are in violation of spiritual law. You are not to be attached to anything of this world. We are not to be conformed of the things of this world because nothing in this world is permanent. You know that. You know this. Why are we acting shocked? You know that nothing on this earth is permanent. So why are you attaching yourself to anything here? Why are you so attached to something that if it is snatched from you, you're going to lose your mind? Knowing that people dying every day, B, what are we talking about right now? Are you for real? See, this is what I be talking about. You not living in living in a false reality. You in spiritual violation by being attached to the things of this world, knowing that the things of this world are not permanent. They are not even fully, it's not even that. And the truth is, you're attached to an idea of something. The majority of the time, you attached to the idea of something. When that person shows you that they not who they say they are, and you sit around and you stay and you keep rescheduling your joy based on their availability and all of this and all that, they are not shifting. You're putting yourself through all of this for what? For what? It's not making any sense. When you are anchored, you always know. You always know that the Most High has you. You always know the desires of your heart are going to be. You're not concerned about, okay, this person gone, okay. People are going to leave your life and in death. Why are y'all why are you attached? What are you attached to? You attached to the idea. When somebody show you they're not that same person and you stick around, you still attached to the idea of what y'all had. You still trying to fight for what y'all had. This is why I don't believe in fighting for your relationship. I don't believe in that. Because what is the fight? See, has anybody ever asked that? Has anybody ever asked that? What are you fighting? I'm fighting for my tell me more. Help me to understand. Tell me more. What exactly what fight is it exactly? Because make it make sense. Because it's not making any sense. What's the fight? Okay, to be bound. So you're wrestling. Got it. Because it's not a fight. You're not fighting for your relationship. You're literally wrestling. You're literally wrestling. It's a back and forth. Because what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Because it's not making absolutely no sense. And I'm serious. Right. Fighting to be bound is crazy work. It's insane. Let's talk about reclaiming power from pain. Okay? When a woman says, but I've been through all this heartache, that woman needs to remember that sovereignty doesn't erase pain. It reclaims it as a sacred initiation. Y'all be looking at these breakups with people in the wrong way, which is why you always got to heal after every relationship, which is crazy work too. You should not, if you got to heal after every scenario, you are giving too much, and you have devalued yourself to the point to where you overly invested. It's too much. It's too much. And I'm not even kidding around. It's way too much. If you have the mind frame, but I've been through all these breakups, you need to know that sovereignty does not erase pain. It reclaims it as a sacred initiation. When you break up, when you and somebody break up, you need to see that as an initiation. This is an initiation into my next experience. And every time when you got promoted in school to the next grade, everybody who was in your 3rd grade class didn't show up to the 4th grade class. Some people moved away in the summertime. Some people failed the 3rd grade, so they're still in the 3rd grade. Not everybody who was in the class with you in Miss Brown class was coming up with you and was promoted. You were being initiated into the 4th grade. Greg didn't do his work. He failed, so he got held back. At every new level, sometimes folks get left behind. Why are we focused on that? Start seeing these, you're seeing these experiences as if they're such painful experiences, like they're taking you out. Y'all ain't rooted in scripture enough. Because ain't no pain. No pain compares to the joy that's coming. Where are y'all at with that? See, this is what I be saying. Like, a lot of people are not for real. Thank you, my love, for these. I love that. It's so cute. A lot of people are not for real. You're not real believers. Because belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave, baby. And it's not given. It's not given believer. It's given, I don't know, something else. So if that is your mind frame, that is your heart set, and this is an initiation. This is why I tell women all the time, ain't no midlife crisis. Girl, don't come up here talking about you having a midlife crisis, baby. I'm 41. And let me tell you right now, you're not having a midlife crisis. That's an initiation. That's an initiation that's saying, that's egg on your face saying the life you've been living is fake. See, the life you've been living is fake, and you at a crossroad. You got a fork in the road. You either going to choose a better path for the rest of half of your life, or you're going to keep going down this path. That's what's happening. Ain't no midlife crisis. That's an initiation. Either you're going to pass or fail. You got to realize in this life, you got to make decisions. You got to make decisions. And a lot of you are being initiated in new spaces, and you looking at it like it's a crisis. And y'all are wasting Chronos time. Y'all better get on the red knowledge tree, get on my Substack. Y'all wasting Chronos time. And then when it's time to be up, in Kairos time, the season is up, you can't even get none. You can't even get none. Thank you, my love. You can't even get none. Because when it was time for you to have your oil and be ready, you didn't have nothing. You didn't have nothing because you was wasting time over here. Like, come on now. It's in my bio. You can get it in my bio too. The link is in bio. You click on it. I think the first thing is the quiz you can take, and the second one is where you can sign up for the red knowledge tree. Okay? So that's the first thing. All this breakup initiation. Get your mind right. I don't want to be with you no more. Okay? In your mind, you like, I'm finna go through this initiation. When he doing all that talking, I don't want to be with you no more. This and that. All you heard is, I don't want to be with you no more. Initiation activated. How do I want to look in the next 6 months? How do I want to feel spiritually? How do I want to feel mentally? All while he talking about all of this stuff, he leaving you, he done, he taking everything. In your mind, you going through the process, the initiation has been activated. It don't even matter what's being said anymore. You heard what you needed to hear, period. All that extra, going into crisis. See, going into crisis mode brings forth more chaos. No. Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. transmuting, hold on, let me go back up. Is transmuting pain into joy initiate? Yes. And that's my specialty. Turning pain into money, or turning pain into progress, turning pain into money, or turning pain into progress, turning pain into joy. Specialty. You need to be able to transmute that up. Y'all are getting too caught up. Hey, my love. The second thing, how to reclaim your power from pain. Let's say if you're in a mind frame of, they really did betray me. Okay? When you ask yourself, dang, they really did betray me, didn't it? Yes. Yeah, they did. They did betray you. What you going to do with that knowing now? What are you going to do with that knowing now? Are you going to collapse or calibrate? Now that you remember they betrayed you, and every time you play this back over in your mind, yes, they betrayed you. Okay, what are you finna do? Cry? Yes. But after that, you're going to fall down or you're going to calibrate? Which one? Make up your mind. See, in every scenario, you have choices. And this is what I be talking about. Women need to understand the game of chess. Because if you understood the game of chess, you would know you're the most powerful piece on the board and you choose where you want to go. All you got to do is be intentional and make every move your best move like it's about to be your last move. And be intentional, be strategic. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. That's it. But no, you don't want to do that because you don't want to make a decision. You don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But everybody get to hurt your feelings. Oh, okay, got it. So again, they really did betray me. Yes. And somebody's going to betray you again. And again. And the more you move up, yes, people are going to betray you. The more you do your work to actualize and come into yourself, people are going to betray you. Because people will hate you when they feel like they can't do the things that you're doing. Or they're jealous at the fact that you're able to do this and they don't have the courage to do that. They will hate you, and yes, they will betray you. Yes. And yes, you need to cut your grass at every level. Yes, you do. It comes with the program. Period. What you have to decide is, are you going to collapse or are you going to calibrate? Third thing I'm always hearing people say where you need to reclaim power from pain. I just don't want to be hurt again. I just don't want to be hurt again. There is pain in this life that's unavoidable. Avoidance isn't safety. So all this, I don't want to be hurt again, so you're just using avoiding to try to get around it. Avoidance isn't safety. Avoidance is actually self-abandonment in disguise. Avoidance is self-abandonment in disguise. Little miss, I don't want to look at my bank account because I don't want to see how much money I made. Avoidance is self-abandonment in disguise. See, what I teach you, you can use in life, relationships, and business, because how you do one thing is normally how you do all things, sweetheart. You're not code switching at home and then coming home and being the realest one ever. Please. If you code switching at work and acting like somebody else, you're pretending and playing small when you get home or in relationships, sweetheart. You're not fooling anybody. Please pick somebody else. Please. This is why in my highest level program, women stop reenacting their abandonment wound and they start architecting their relational clarity. Code switch is a good skill, I thought, for who? Code switching is not a skill. Code switching is a performance. To code switch is stating that who I am authentically is not valued, so I do not allow her to show up so that she can be accepted and rejected, because that is duality. But I accept her, and I understand in the fullness of me accepting her, I am going to attract the things that align with her, and I can only manage the things that are assigned to me. And I can only manage the things when I am being the real me. Like I said, to code switch and to be the code switcher at work is the same person, the same woman who is attention seeking. They're the same woman. They may not be the same woman, but they the same woman. They both performing. They both are performing in order to put out a perception of themselves instead of stepping into the fullness of themselves. The attention-seeking woman is making a spectacle of herself so that you see the spectacle and you don't really see her. The code switcher is making a spectacle of themselves. Look at me, I'm not like them. So you do not see the real aspect of them. Same thing. This is why it tells you in scripture you really shouldn't be judging based on your opinion, because your opinion don't really mean nothing. Because a lot of times when people are talking, you really are the person you're talking about. The person you despise so much, you reflect them. Do you understand that? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and thank you, lovey. You understand that you always meet yourself. Even in frustration, you always meet yourself. That's why you're so frustrated with your teenager. That's why teenagers are so frustrating, because you are looking into the mirror. You are seeing a master at work. You don't like yourself? You don't like yourself. That's what you're finding out. You don't like yourself because you always meet yourself. So you have to understand that here's the truth and the bottom line of it. Power isn't performed, it's calibrated. And women who don't do this work, they won't come home to who they truly are. And they will always collapse into the most relatable pain. It's just a relatable pain. Someone says, I thought code switching was just playing a game. It's not personal, just using a tool for the job. Here's the thing, though. It's performing. That's the thing. What game are you playing? And are you winning the game? See, here's the thing. I only play games to win. How are you winning in the corporate game? By code switching. And have you ever seen the people at the very, very top? How well do they code switch? How well do they code switch? They often don't. And don't listen, I ain't even going to say that. They often don't, though. I'll say that. So if we're going to play a game, I would much rather play a game I would win. I would like to win. And the corporate game is not a game that's set up for its systematic workers to win. The corporate system was initially set up for people who did not have spiritual rooting and spiritual practice, because you believed that you needed to sell your time, your energy, and your attention for a cheap salary, while they taxed on your soul to meet their goals while paying you extremely cheaply, which is why they have entry-level positions. And then we have a lot of women, especially black women, that tend to fall into the trap of thinking if they put you in middle management that you really are doing something. So you try to drive home on the entry workers at the bottom, when in reality they only put you in middle management to be an overseer, because they were never going to push you and move you ahead. They were never going to move you above that seat. And if they were going to have someone that was going to oppress their own beloved, they would much rather put somebody who looks like them in place to oppress them while they really do it in the background. But the one who's sitting in the middle is the one who's going to take the heat on both ends. See how they did that there? All of these things are by design. I don't play games that are designed for me to fail. I would much rather get out of the system by submitting spiritually. The reality of the situation is this. You have two things. You either submit to society or you submit to the one that created you spiritually. That's the only way out of the matrix. This society is set up systematically, and they are using aspects of spell work and other different things and occult knowledge to be able to rule and do things. And you think you're going to take your human self into a corporate system that was set up with occult knowledge and different things like that, and you're going to beat them? And you ain't even tapped into the kingdom of heaven within you according to Luke 17:21, and you think you will match for that? Please. Oh, child, please. You won't win. You won't win. You don't have it. You're not heavy enough. You don't have enough. None of us are heavy enough on our own accord, which is why we should not lean on our own understanding. We're not heavy enough. But I don't play games with yeah, when I know they set me up when the game is rigged. The only game I'm interested in playing in this life is chess. That's the one where I'm in the mood. I know how to move. All I got to do is be intentional. All I got to do is be strategic. And all I have to do is make sure my next move is my best move. And if I'm asking the Most High how and where I need to move, I'm not going to miss. I'm going to win the game at the end. No matter what they do. Because there's never been a time that you've seen the Most High's people who were committed and who were rooted ever not flourish, even in the times of famine. That's what you got to understand. So now I'm code switch. I'm code switch. I understand why people do it, but I don't do it. Because it's performing. It's another area of performance. And like I said, power isn't performed, baby. It's calibrated. Good evening. Power isn't performed. It is calibrated. And like I said, the women who don't do this work, who don't come home to who they are, they will always collapse in the most relatable pain. Child, somebody alarm going off. Wait, I'm nosy too. Hold on, y'all. I can't see anyway. When this about to drive me. But anywho, the women who are in the Muse Activator, okay? Those women don't just attract better partners. They don't just make, more money. They become sovereign partners in the new relational paradigm. And if you're ready to stop romanticizing the struggle and stop choosing victimhood and really activate the villain within you, because understand this, let me tell you something. A woman that has standards is villainized. A woman who has boundaries is villainized. A woman who says no is villainized. You need to get comfortable with being the villain. Hey, my love. Thank you for these gifts. You have to be comfortable. And the reason why you're not comfortable being the villain is because you don't know who you are. Which is why you're always choosing to be a victim. He did this. She did that. What did you do? How did you participate, get permission, or not pay attention in this experience to where you were continuously victimized? Because to be continuously victimized is to continue to allow yourself to go in there. So the first red flag, why we didn't move. See, these are the things we need to start assessing. Why didn't we move? So if you're ready to stop romanticizing struggle and start regulating power, then I have a program called the Muse Activator. It's an 8-week program. You can click the link in the bio to get more information about it. Okay. If you are in a space, it is a 4-figure investment. You get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. If you are not ready and you are still kind of learning to trust your own clarity before trusting someone else's presence, then I recommend you coming into the Sacred Feminine League, which is a monthly membership that I have. It's $197. You get it with, you can't get that with Klarna from an Afterpay. I'm lying. It's $197 a month. You get 2 live sessions with me. It's a group community. I love the women in the Sacred Feminine League. They're just, everyone is really, really sweet and on the same type of time, very supportive, great energy. You get 2 live sessions with me. You get 2 other video drops with me. And we have a Telegram group that I am very active in. And you get to ask me whatever questions you want to ask me. Okay? And it's $197 a month. The program for the Muse Activator is $2,000 and you get me for 8 weeks. That one's a little bit different. We meet weekly. We do have accountability partners that we are pairing up actually this week. And then we also have some other amazing things that happen over the 8-week span. The women in that group are sharp, amazing, ready, very intentional. That is a very, very powerful program, the Muse Activator, because I believe that all women are muses. And a muse, by definition, is a source of inspiration. So you are literally walking art. And if you are a source of inspiration, imagine what you are inspiring people to do. See, this is the thing you got to think. Are you inspiring people to invest in you? Are you inspiring, especially if you're business, are you inspiring people to invest in you? Are you inspiring people to investigate, to learn more about you? If not, this is because you haven't activated your inner muse, because muses, like I said, are walking art. And you know how much money and how much people invest in art? But it has to inspire them. And women are inspirational. Sometimes just by even entering into a room, sometimes by just looking at a person. Women are inspirational. You can inspire investment. And so that's very, very important. And that's what happens in the Muse Activator, okay? Um, if you are wanting, if you are a reader and you like research and you like that stuff, then you definitely would love the Red Knowledge Tree. The Red Knowledge Tree, you can click the link in the bio. It's my Substack. I write on there and I just started it. Writing is actually a great passion of mine. I was a published poet at 17 and I started writing poetry when I was in third grade. What you get, and I don't want to get emotional about the Red Knowledge Tree, but I really, really like the Red Knowledge Tree because you're learning a lot of sacred teachings around feminine power, divine strategy, really understanding the depths of these things. And then in the red letters, which is the paid version is $22 a month, or you can get it I think for $222 a year, or if you do the founders rate you get the extra bonus, which is like $197. So those are the tiers with that, and then they have the free option. But the red letters is where I go really, 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 really deep. A lot of you have been asking me for more spiritual knowledge. You've been asking me to really go deep on certain things that I won't necessarily say on TikTok. And that is where I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So come and meet me under the tree, under the Red Knowledge Tree. And if you really want to go deep and you really want to know how to implement these things into your life so that you start activating your feminine power, you really start utilizing divine strategy, and you really start grasping these understandings of these sacred teachings, then go ahead and get the red letters, because the red letters is where it's at. The knowledge tree itself is excellent. It's amazing. But if you dive deep into those letters, it's easier for you to be able to apply and implement these things. So like I said, it's $22 a month. You can click the link in the bio to sign up for Substack and to subscribe. Okay. So yeah, what questions do you guys have for me? Because that's all the information that I have today of why women are choosing victimhood instead of villainhood. Because like I said, it's the easiest thing to do. To step into your villain era for real requires you to do things that a lot of women are not ready to do, like stick to your boundaries, stand on business, really execute the things that you need to execute. A lot of women are really not ready to do that, which is why they settle for, emotional attention, instant validation, or temporary intimacy. And that's what you get when you are operating from the energy of victimhood. Okay? So we have to start taking accountability. Women have to take accountability for their part in experiences where they allow themselves to continuously go through certain things. And we all have done it at some point, but you have to take accountability. You have to take responsibility if you want to heal that and not repeat that. Okay? So drop your questions in the comments if you have any questions. If not, I'm going to get off here. Thank y'all for being on here with me late. I normally don't come on late, but I had to go ahead and come on here because when I recorded when I kept seeing these videos about what do you mean, how he drained me, and then some of the comments that I was seeing in my comment section, like, because I even had I had someone even to say that they felt that I was definitely, what was she trying to say? She was trying to say that I felt like I was superior to other women who were staying in those scenarios, and that that's basically what she was saying. And then she brought up some other stuff, and I had to come back and respond and be like, how did you get this from what I said? I was really clear on what I said. So this led to, me really just kind of sitting in the Most High, being like, I was like, I'm just do this tomorrow. And everything in me was like, no, Most High was like, you're going to do that tonight. So I got on live and was obedient to come and do this live tonight, because a lot of women are really choosing victimhood, and you don't have to choose that. You don't have to choose that. You don't have to choose that at all. It is your responsibility. I saw that comment. I learned a long time ago. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. Absolutely. Absolutely. If we want to close the cycle, we have a responsibility to heal it. If you don't want to take up that responsibility, okay. But understand If you choose victimhood and you choose that to be your relational identity, understand that your currency, betrayal, is going to be your intimacy currency. And if you're okay with that, then by all means, do what you wanna. I'm from New Orleans, so there's do what you wanna, boo. I'm not gonna stress out, okay? So yeah, with this live, yes, it will be uploaded to YouTube. I do have a YouTube channel. You can go over there and check it out. I don't know how long it's gonna be up. Okay. Oh, this is cute. She said that's what it truly means to empower. I appreciate that. I aim to disempower, to be honest. Not disempower women, but to disempower beliefs and illusions and systems that women have set themselves up that literally are sucking them dry. So I wouldn't say I'm a really big, because some people are like, oh, are you women empowerment? Oh, no. I'm actually more disempowerment of illusions. And I support women in waking up. I have the energy that either makes people rise to the occasion or make people run, and I'm okay with both of those. See, and that's what comes with owning all aspects of yourself. There are men who meet me who run if they don't want to rise to the occasion, and then there are men who rise to the occasion. Same thing when it comes down to women. There are women who meet me and see themselves. There are women who meet me and see a part of themselves that they don't want to face, so they run. I welcome both. Run or rise. Run or rise, okay? So click the link in the bio to get access to my Substacks, any of my courses or services. All of them, you can click on there and read more to get more information, learn about the Muse Activator, to learn about the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint. The Magnetic Wealth Blueprint has been selling lately, baby. Y'all have been tearing that up. And if you struggle with attachment styles, that's the one to get. The Magnetic Wealth Blueprint, for sure. Because the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint is going to help you address those attachment styles. It's going to help you get yourself, build a real helpful, builds a real relationship with the one that created you, because you have to deconstruct and refill your cup. So it's chef's kiss. It's really my favorite thing right now, the Magnetic Wealth Blueprint, as far as courses are concerned, because it really is doing a lot of shifting. Monetize Like a Muse is amazing too, but it's for the creative who's ready to get the aligned pricing. But if you want to magnetize wealth, that Magnetic Wealth Blueprint, that's where it's at. That's going to support you in areas of intimacy and income and being able to receive. Facts, the real decisions only feel empowering down to the line. Rarely make it. Absolutely. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. I don't see any additional questions. I'm going to go. This is going to go up on YouTube. It's probably going to replay or something tomorrow, Lord willing. Any questions or anything that you have that are pertaining to my products or services, DM me and I'll try to catch it on tomorrow, because I'm probably going to wash all this face off and rest. So I hope that y'all have an amazing evening. I'll praise to the Most High, and make sure that you realize that self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship, because you set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself, and you should treat yourself exceptionally well because you deserve it. But if you don't believe you deserve it, baby, I'm not here to argue with your perception of self, okay? Because your beliefs impact biology, and biology influences the way you behave. But I would hope that you would think that you deserve it. Okay? All right, y'all. I'm gone. Peace.